Alright, so I want to just give you guys a little run through of Maya's next tools, which can be found up here next to the channel box. So if you just have your Maya scene like this, all you gotta do is click this little guy right here and it opens up the new modeling toolkit, which I think was introduced in Maya 2014. There's a lot of good stuff in here. I just have most of it set up for hotkeys and market menus, so I don't generally use it, but it has a lot of like selection constraints and edging and beveling and extruding and that kind of stuff. But what I want to focus on is this feature here called Quad Draw. And the way that this works is you can actually draw topology directly onto your model. And to set that up first to make it work best for you, what you really want to do is take your model that you had sculpted. Say this is your approved model that you sculpted in Zbrush. That was approved and it's just all Dynameshed, it's all crappy geo, nothing's usable. What you want to do is I generally split it off into sections just because it works faster that way. So I'm going to go ahead and just hide the legs and the arm for now. And the reason I don't have an arm over here is I'll just duplicate this guy over anyway. He's going to be symmetrical. So I just did a poly reduction inside of Zbrush, and that feature is really amazing. Let me go ahead and just show you how to do that really quickly. Alright, so here we have our hero mesh inside of Zbrush, and this is just Dynamesh junk geo, nothing we can use for production. And what you want to do is go up here to do a poly reduction is go up to Plugin and Decimation Master and hit Pre-Process Current. You can do all as well, but in my scene I just have one subtool, so I'm just going to go ahead and do Current. And this decimation tool is great. You can use this, it has a lot of different purposes. You can actually decimate models to show for presentation purposes if you have like 20-30 million polygon meshes. This decimation tool is incredible at keeping the detail while minimizing the topology. It really is amazing. So the other button, now that you pre-processed it, that you want to go down to is this decimate. So just like decimate, just like pre-process current or all, you can do the same here to decimate current or all. And then you can set a poly count that you want or a percentage. I'm going to just leave it default right now just to show you how it works and say decimate current. And it already did that and it just cut it down. Let's go ahead and undo that so you can see the topology change there. So if we go up to subtool, we can see right now this mesh is currently 450,000 polys. Now that's not too high, but in Maya it'll get a little bit chuggy when we're trying to recreate our topology. So if we do a decimate current, you can see we drop this guy down with a click of a button to 90,000. And if we toggle the undo, you can see there's not really much of a change, but it actually is changing the topology. You can see that. So let's go ahead and actually cut it down a little bit more. I'm going to cut it to, let's say, 10%. See if that still retains enough of the detail that we want, especially in the face. It's pretty good, right? It's pretty amazing. This is also a big tool that's used for 3D printing. You know, you have your mesh sculpted, and then for printing purposes, you need to decimate it first. So we want to knock that guy down all the way to 45,000 polys. So let's go ahead and export this guy. And before we do that, I'm going to just do this tool because I think we talked about this before, but this mesh integrity, sometime in decimating it, your model gets destroyed. Just make sure you click Fix Mesh first, and then you can export it. So that's all I did to get our mesh inside of Maya, and then I just cut it up into the body, the arm, and the leg. Alright, here we are back inside of Maya, and now the way that you draw the topology onto your mesh is you first have to make it live. Up here, the little magnet guy, if you remember, we used this before. And then you can click your quad draw button. And what this does is at first you just start clicking dots, and I'm going to go through some of the features here to show you what this actually is doing. But if you accidentally click dots or you don't want dots, there's a button here that clears dots. So there's a couple different ways to generate topology. Some of the hotkeys you're going to use are the control key to delete things and the tab key to create things. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and create a face. So based on this size here, 40, we can change this to bigger, and when I hit tab, it's actually going to show me a face. Let's go ahead and scale this down to, let's say, 50. That's fine. And it's live on the surface, but it doesn't actually do anything until I click. So I can actually click and drag with my mouse, and I'm literally just drawing topology on the mesh. So now if I go ahead and see over here, I actually have now poly surface created on that same live model. It snaps right to the surface. So it's really cool. So if you accidentally click off your model and you want to continue quad drawing, just click back on that model and hit quad draw, and it'll remember that that's where you left off. So now that you have some geometry on there, you can use the tab key again, and if you hover over an edge, you can actually extrude. And over here, there's a button that says extend. You can do it by loop, border, or edge. I'll just go ahead and do border just to show you. And you can actually extrude out an entire edge. And the cool thing is this is always live on the surface.